Hey, Bobby Manning here, Noah Dalzell alongside at the only practice we'll be at before Celtics Knicks. And a good one on the injury front here is it looks like the Celtics are going to head into the series healthy. Jrue Holiday practiced today, practiced yesterday. Joe Mazzulla said he went through pretty much everything that the Celtics did here. You saw him in the video that the team put out. And I had some questions about whether we'd see him at Game 1 at the very least. We'll get an injury report tomorrow. But right now, based off what Joe said today and Jrue practicing and us seeing that, I feel good about him going into Game 1 playing.
Yeah, and I don't think we got anything definitive. He said he went through everything the team went through. We don't know if the team scrimmaged or if they went through on-court things.
It looked like they were going up and down yesterday.
Yeah, based on the little clip they showed, it looked like he participated. So it's good news, and I think we've had so little information regarding this injury. We don't know when it happened. We don't know exactly what his limitations have been. But I think the fact that we also can't pinpoint it is a good sign, because it's not like he had some aggressive move where it's like all of a sudden you see him wincing in pain. So I feel pretty good, even if he doesn't go Game 1. This doesn't seem like something that's going to keep him out of the round. It seems like he's pretty close, and it's definitely a good thing that they've had now 5 days off, because he, Jaylen, everybody else, I think they benefited from that rest.
I was looking at his matchups against the Knicks during the year. Mostly guarded Brunson. Looks like he's going to take on that role. I feel like the thinking there is going to be to just guard him straight up, and if he beats them or shoots 30 times, they'll be okay with that, similar to Paolo last series. So it's going to be important that he can move. It's going to be important that he doesn't aggravate it as the series goes on, and that's always the worry with a hamstring. So I'm sure they'll remain cautious, but it does feel like he'll be, if they do it like the regular season was, Tatum on Towns, Holiday on Brunson, and then Porzingis just kind of floating off hard. And Brown said today at practice that that's probably how they'll start this series, but it might not be how they end this series.
Yeah, and I would be surprised. I think someone like Jaylen Brunson, you just want to throw different things at him. So Jrue is obviously somebody that can guard him. You can put Jaylen on him a little bit and bother him with his length and his size and his strength and all that, because Jaylen Brunson's game is also very physical, and he likes that contact. So I think they have a lot of different options for how they can guard this team. I like Jrue Holiday and Karl-Anthony Towns' instance. I think
so
that's
you'd swap
something.
it maybe?
I don't know. I think the main thing is you just don't want to keep the matchups the same, because a guy like him, you could put the best defender in the world on him, and Jrue Holiday is one of those guys. He's going to find ways to score regardless. Like, great offense beats great defense all the time. So I think you want to just throw different looks at him, and some teams might not have the personnel to do it, but the Celtics do. They have the personnel to throw different guys at Jaylen Brunson at various points, and I think the key is to not give him anything easy, because somebody like him in the clutch, like, I do think he's one of the clutchest players in the NBA right now. He won that award, and we just saw it in the first round. Yeah, but I think somebody like him, you can't give him an open elbow shot in the second quarter, because if he starts to get like a really good rhythm, you're in tough shape. So that's the key there, is to just make life difficult for him as much as possible.
He's scary, and I love Holiday's ability to bump him in the post, make him work on defense too. There was so much watching the film of this series of Holiday just attacking him, and Holiday shot like 57% in this matchup during the year. He was ridiculous from three against the Knicks, so he could be the X factor in this series, I think, especially when you think of how many positions you could put him in defensively, and I think they'd miss him a lot if he can't go start this series, so we'll keep an eye on him. Jaylen Brown said he is good to go here and trending toward 100%, which I wasn't expecting to hear. I thought that would be something that would bother him throughout the playoffs as that goes on, and the fact that he says he's moving in the right direction here, I think, is a pleasant surprise, especially after a series where in that Game 5, he didn't look right in that first quarter, came back after halftime and started rolling. So there were ups and downs in that series. I wasn't expecting to hear that he's trending toward 100% here, and
yeah,
that's a major development, I think.
The best thing that he said is that there's no structural issues, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people expect, or at least maybe not anymore, but a couple weeks back, expected the offseason to begin, and we get an update that he's getting like knee surgery. Like,
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people saying that online,
Because
speculating.
we didn't know what the injury was.
Right. I mean, all it's listed out is a right knee impingement, deep. It's a bone bruise in his knee that's bothered him since mid-February, and that's a long time for a bone bruise, but it's also not unheard of, and he's also playing through it. And to me, it's like, beyond just this playoff run, you want to make sure that this guy's one of the cornerstones of your franchise, right? You want to make sure that he's good to go moving forward. And from what he said today, and again, it's just a limited media availability, but to say that there are no structural issues, it's the first time he's offered anything like that up, and
he
that he's
went
trending
a while
positive
without wanting to discuss it, and so him, I think, bringing it back up again today and actually addressing it is a positive about how he's feeling and his mindset on what the injury is going to do to him. But throughout the course of this playoffs, because my biggest injury, and I thought of the playoffs ending in him having surgery or whatever the biggest concern would be there. But I think the more immediate concern was that, yeah, he'd start the playoffs well, then the shot would wear off, and then, you know, by the Eastern Conference Finals, he's just a shell of himself. And the fact that he went through a series that physical and that demanding, he played 40 minutes a couple of times and is feeling better coming out of it, that's a huge plus for them finishing it in 5 and for whatever treatment and management they've gone through here.
For sure, and I think there's always a level of gamesmanship with any of these injury updates that I take everything with a grain of salt. Like I don't know.
If
think
I
he wanted
totally
to signal
believe
that he's doing well and
Yeah.
he's not going to be exploitable in a sense. At the same time, regardless of what he says, we just saw him go through a 5-game series where he played really well ultimately, and it wasn't always perfect, but nobody was really perfect in that series. Jason Tatum was pretty close to it, but I think ultimately that speaks for itself more than anything. And yes, he was on the injury report those final 3 games. I don't think his status was ever like super in doubt. We'll see if he's on the injury report to start the series. I wouldn't be shocked if he was, but definitely positive signs both from on Jrue Holiday and Jaylen Brown coming out of practice today, and that's what you want to hear right now.
There will be an injury update tomorrow, and then we'll have coverage of Game 1 on Monday. It's a 7 o'clock tip-off. I wasn't expecting that. Talk about
Thrilled to see a 7 o'clock tip-off after that last game was almost a 9 o'clock Game 5. So
post-game after that one, around 9:30, 10, coverage of that game, and all the quotes after, as always, here on CLNS Media and Celtics All Access. Noah has a new You Got Boston out today, so go check that out here from practice. And I'll be speaking with Christian Winfield, who covers the Knicks great for the New York Daily News here on the Garden Report later tonight as well. So join us for those. Subscribe. Hit the notification. We could be going live anytime news breaks or there's any developments throughout this series, in between games as well. We're going to do what we did in first round and be out there in New York. So I'm looking forward to that. What's your favorite spot in New York?
Madison Square Garden.
Okay. Oh, fair answer. I was going to go Chinatown, but we'll roll with that. The atmosphere is going to be great. Porzingis today.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the atmosphere was great during the regular
up.
season. And, you know, normally I feel like TD Garden is so obviously the more exciting place in a series.
Porzingis was nice like, they got to go to Boston, too.
Yeah, but it'll be nice to see, like, high energy for all the games. You know, I feel like in the first round, it was clear when you went to the Kia Center, there was a drop-off in energy there. So, which was actually, it was fine. Orlando wasn't bad. But I think that Madison Square Garden is going to bring a different level of energy, especially right now facing Boston, and they're excited about this team.
I'm ready for it. First playoff game for all of us at MSG later next week as well. But first, Game 1 in Boston, 7 o'clock on Monday. For Noah Delzell, I'm Bobby Manning. Jrue Holiday trending toward playing in Game 1, it appears here, based off what we heard today. And Jaylen Brown says he's trending toward 100% as well. We'll talk to you in a couple days.
Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.